Hello everyone and welcome back to another Zenless Zone Zero video. Today we're diving deep and covering all of the upcoming characters for the game, the ones that have been confirmed to be playable agents, and everything we know about them. But that is just the tip of the iceberg, because we've also got some incredible characters on the horizon that could completely change how we play Zenless Zone Zero. And at the end I'll also be showing some characters that may potentially be coming into the game, though we currently do not know if that is going to be a possibility. So with that being said, hello everyone, my name is DarkHero and let's get started. Now here's the thing, some of these characters that we're going to be seeing, of which we have some concept art and for some others some official trailers and other sources, some of them might not even be released until late 2025 or even 2026. And I know that sounds crazy, but when you think about Genshin Impact, many characters from Genshin Impact that have just been released in 2024 with an Atlan region had already been revealed before the game even released back in 2020. Some of them we didn't even know that, we just knew what they looked like, and it took that long for us to finally be able to play with them. And that is simply just how gacha game development works. They have this long roadmap ahead of them with plenty of characters, factions and regions already planned out, and while they might tease some of them here and there, there's no guarantee that they're going to be coming one after another and they can just throw us a curveball, tease that some of these characters might be coming and then release them 3 or 4 years later. So hey, if you see the design of a character that you really like and you want to save up for them, this is something to take into account. Now moving on to the upcoming characters, first up we have of course got Asaba Haramusa, the electric attack agent from the Section 6 faction, and Hoshimi Miyabi, the ice anomaly agent, the leader of the Section 6 faction. Both of these characters are going to be dropping in version 1.4, which is just around the corner on December 18th, with us thankfully getting Haramusa for free, so that is very good. These two Section 6 agents are going to shake up the meta, especially with Miyabi apparently being the peak of anomaly for a long time, so I'm very excited for them and I will be doing a proper analysis for Miyabi and what her teams are going to work like. But that's something that we all knew was coming. Now after these two we have the newly announced S-rank Ether support agent Astra Yao, the well-renowned and famous singer that has actually been teased to have been coming to the game for a long time, as there were tons of posters, articles, music and so on plastered throughout New Eridu, so it's great that she is officially making it into the game and that she has such a cool design. Now we actually got a snippet of Astra during the Game Awards where Hoyoverse showed a new teaser featuring Astra as she was roaming around the 6th street with a ton of focus put onto her that was pretty much confirming that she would become a playable character in Zenless Zone Zero. But also in that same short trailer we briefly get to see another character, and that is Evelyn Chevalier, who happens to be Astra's manager and bodyguard and was later confirmed to also be a playable character, a fire attack agent in fact. Now of course we already have a fire attack agent in the game in the form of the standard S-rank unit Soldier 11, so this looks to be some more of the typical Hoyoverse power creep, but hey, we were definitely short on Ether characters, only having Juyuan and Nicole so far, and we're missing a limited S-rank support character, so I'm glad to see that my prediction was correct, and thankfully Astra looks great. Now I'll be honest, I love both of their designs, especially Evelyn, so much so that in fact I'm honestly considering pulling for Lighter at the last minute just before his banner leaves, with the single purpose to have a character that can work with both Miyabi but also with Evelyn. And I know that sounds like I'm burning a lot of summons, but hey, how could you not be enticed by their designs? The Hoyoverse design team sure knows what they're doing. Then there's the brand new mysterious Virtual Idols faction, a completely new faction that is composed, as the name implies, virtual idols. It's definitely one of the most intriguing upcoming additions to the game, as this mysterious group brings a fresh twist to the game, blending technology with entertainment in a unique way. And what makes them particularly fascinating is that they're advanced robots capable of transforming into humanoid forms, with the most notable example being a unit that can transform into a character that has these distinctive pink pigtails and has a very unique aesthetic. From what we know through the early reveals, concept art and all of that, the Virtual Idols faction is going to include at least 3 confirmed members, those being a girl in white and black clothes with a pink book bag, another girl primarily wearing white, black and pink with a giant mace, and the aforementioned robot that can transform into a person with 4 pink pigtails. Their design philosophy seems to focus heavily on this white and black aesthetic with some hints of pink, with of course a very big side of futuristic look. Me personally, I'm very excited about this faction. For one, the Ether attribute is the one that is the least represented currently in Zenless Zone Zero, with only Nicole and Jiyuan being the only members that use the Ether attribute. And when looking at these three characters, they do look like they could potentially use Ether to channel their powers and use their attacks, so I feel like they could be exciting additions to the game. And the one that has me the most excited by far, again, has to be the robot girl that can transform into this Star Guardian virtual idol type of character, because imagine if that transformation actually takes place in gameplay. That would be really cool and something that we had not seen before in Zenless Zone Zero. And then of course I'm also a big fan of characters with a giant hammer or mace, so this somewhat gothic looking girl with some angel wings and a halo also looks very cool. But then we have perhaps the most exciting group of all, the Void Hunters, an elite group that represents some of the most skilled and respected Hollow Hunters in New Eridu, of which one of them is already a familiar face, that being Miyabi. Now these are not just any regular agents, they're individuals who have been specifically recognized by the mayor for their exceptional achievements in combating Hollows. You can think of them as being these legendary figures that have proven themselves through countless dangerous missions, as the title of a Void Hunter isn't given lightly. It's a mark of exceptional skill and dedication, and as such, we can expect these characters to act maybe the same as Emanators from Honkai Star Rail, or even the Archons from Genshin Impact. And thankfully, we do actually have an official trailer that showcases quite a few of these Void Hunters, what they look like, as well as their title or name and a brief description for them. And the first one of them is a Thyran known as the Swordmaster. They are from the Hoshimi family, meaning that they are related to Miyabi, and not much is known about them aside from the fact that she is the third generation head of the Hoshimi family and has succeeded in defeating what is called the Exaltist Overseer. A lot of people were speculating that she would turn out to be Miyabi, though that seems to not be the case. Then there's the Sunbringer, who has a very mysterious look with these futuristic appendages and the striking heterochromia featuring one blue eye and one yellow eye. Not much is known about this Sunbringer outside of the fact that she eradicated the Hive Lord Hollow in the sky. She is the former CEO of Marcel Group, one that is mentioned many times in the game's quests, and is the inventor of the Bang Boos. Her appearance is very reminiscent of Honkai Impact 3's main character, Kiana Kazlana, in her Void Drifter battlesuit, which has led to a lot of people in the community speculating that they might be somewhat related, though the developers of Zenless Zone Zero have confirmed that this universe is not related in any way to the Honkai universe, though we might find some loose connections and references here and there, kind of like Yanagi shares a lot of similarities with Raiden Mei. Then we have Joyous, the ace of the Investigation Guild. He is the predecessor of both the Investigators and the Proxies, and one of his greatest feats is navigating the Papago Hollow that is also known as the Divine Maze. Joyous is also the person behind the standard 4 Hollow exploration routes, with some of this information being locked behind on the internet available in the game. He definitely has a very edgy look to him, though that can be said for a lot of these Void Hunters, especially with the dark cloak and mask covering most of his face, only showing his white hair and a scar across his red eye. Though if I'm honest, that's the type of edgy thing that appeals to me. Then we have Vike, formerly known as Colonel Vike, that alongside the Lieutenant Colonel Dan was responsible for pushing back the Dark Wall by 37 kilometers. Not much is known about Lieutenant Colonel Dan and Colonel Vike, though they are very impressive figures even among the Void Hunters, as pushing back the Dark Wall for even just a little bit seems to be an extremely difficult and dangerous task. Then we have the leader of the Falcanian mercenary troop, that is the girl with pink hair and a set of wings on her back, that also worked alongside Lieutenant Colonel Dan and Colonel Vike to push back the Dark Wall. She is definitely the most mysterious out of all of them, as we don't even get a proper title or a name to address her by, so I'll be referring to her as the leader. Given how much focus was given to her specifically in the lore teaser official promotional material, I think this one at the very least has the biggest chance to become a playable character. And finally we have Professor Archie, or Arch. He is the founder of the Helios Academy and was the discoverer of the common characteristics of Hollows. As such, the professor is related to the Helios Research Institute, which holds the copyright to the Hollow Deep Dive system, with information about the professor being locked away behind the internet's deep database. But before the database was sealed, Professor Arch delved deep into the Hollow Zero in search of the truth. Now of course, it's not a guarantee that all of these Void Hunters will become playable characters. Not even the fact that we got a promotional trailer for all of them really doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, considering that in Honkai Star Rail we got a trailer for the Annihilation Gang, and we even got the typical drip marketing that we usually get with Honkai Star Rail whenever they reveal a new playable character, with them showing the artwork for each of the different characters, a small bio for each of them, detailing what these characters are all about, their personalities, what their powers are, and all of that. But then you play Honkai Star Rail and you get through the Penacony story, you know what happened to the Annihilation Gang. Let's just say that they didn't have a happy ending. So even though I am hoping for most of these characters to become playable, I would wager on only one or two of them becoming characters that you can summon for. After that we have the Big Daddy from the Sons of Calydon faction. Now this Boar Tyrant was actually present in the story of Zenless Zone Zero in the 1.2 update, though for very brief moments. And of course, as such, we already know quite a bit about him. How he has paid off Lighter's debts and gave him the Red Scar, how he raised Caesar to become this strong independent woman, and just how much he means to the entire Sons of Calydon faction. Well, the reason why a lot of people in the community were expecting him to become playable at some point is that apart from his model already being available in the game, which that by itself is no indication of anything, is that for one we are lacking in Tyrants for playable characters, especially full body Tyrants like Lycaon and Ben Bigger, but also the fact that his icon, which is only typically available for playable characters, was also apparently in the game files. Though at this point it wouldn't make too much sense to now introduce him as a playable character, given that as far as the story relevance goes, we are pretty much done with the Sons of Calydon faction. And in that same vein, Pulchra is yet another character whose name is thrown around a lot as an upcoming playable character, given how much fans loved her design, her involvement with the Sons of Calydon faction, and her relationship with Bernice. Though again, at this point this is nothing more than wishful thinking. And then of course there's the concept art for a lot of the characters that we have already in the game. And as you can see, some of them have completely different designs, being vastly different compared to what we already have in the game. As such, it is possible that some of these concept arts might potentially inspire upcoming characters or be reused in some way, shape or form, as some of these designs look way too good to be simply scrapped and never used again. But that is pretty much it for the upcoming characters for Zenless Zone Zero. I'm sure we'll be getting news about many more of them, and there's also the topic of rerun characters, which for both Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail was in the update 1.4, though we have already received the update 1.4 livestream and nothing about an Ellen Zhou or Zhuyuan rerun was mentioned, so maybe they are saving up those reruns for another time. With that, let me know which character you are the most excited for, and will you be saving up for any of these mentioned characters. As always, my name is DarkHero, and thank you all so much for watching.